Alright, this video is going to be a little bit longer than normally. This is because it's containing 3 parts. The first part is me talking about the list I was playing yesterday and giving a very quick overview. The second part is me going into greater detail about the list, like I will talk about certain cards, or rather I will talk about all the cards. I will talk about the synergies and I will even talk a little bit about the sideboard, but please don't be too excited. There will not be a specific sideboard guide. This is because I change my own opinion about sideboarding all the time and there's nothing coherent about it. If you see me boarding card X into a specific matchup today, you cannot be certain that I will board the same card 2 days from now on, because my opinions shift multiple times a week. Then there will be the third part of the video, which will contain all the games I played yesterday during a challenge on MTGO. There were 110-ish players. Overall I came in 6th place. I went 6-2 overall, and I'm quite happy with that. I will include timestamps obviously, so you can just jump to the section you would like to see the most. And yeah, that's really it. So for the quick overview, this list is very straightforward and very aggressive. You have your 1-drops on turn 1, which is the Mindspring Merfolk, which is the Ether Vial, and which is the Tide Shaper. You shouldn't hesitate in this list to use the Tide Shaper as a 1-mana 1/1 if you have a follow-up. The follow-up to your first turn should be one of your 2-drops obviously, which again is the Tide Shaper if you can kick it, the Silver Mentor, or a Hex Catcher. Please note that the Island Walk Lords are not dedicated 2-drops in this list or in this deck in general, right? You want to deploy them as late as possible, or when you have nothing better to do, or if you have a very good reason to deploy them early into the game. After your turn 2, you have your turn 3, which is either going to be your top end in form of Harbinger or Tidebinder, or you're going to deploy another 2-drop if you either don't hit your 3rd land, or you can play another 1-drop plus your 2-drop. All of this super easy and straightforward idea is supported by a single card, which is Flare of Denial. You will just sacrifice one of your 1-drops, or the second half I should say, of Silver Mentor into your Flare to either protect your threats like Harbinger or your board from answers that your opponent has, or to counter the threats that your opponent is going to bring to the table, and then you hopefully just run them over. So again, you play your 1-drop, you play your 2-drop, then you play your top end, and you back it up with the Flare of Denial. Alright, let's try something new here, which is to give a little bit of deck introduction. I'm doing this now because I believe the challenge is a little bit more interesting than an ordinary league, and I will try to keep this as short as possible. I have to say something about the audio quality for the challenge. It's 35 degrees outside, like yesterday and today, and there was a vent, or a fan I believe is the correct word, running in the background, so you will hear slight hum most of the time. And on top of that, there were a lot of internet outages at the evening and even today, so there are a lot of cuts and I apologize for that. Alright, let's get to the deck. I will talk about the structure for a second and then go into detail about the cards that I was bringing in or playing, and the idea of the deck. I tried to keep it, as said, as short as possible, right? So we're playing 20 lands, and it's only 16 lands here, because one of the lands is a spell, like classified as a spell. The deck is, or this list is very creature heavy with 32 creatures, and we're running 1 artifact, which is the Ether Vial, and 1 interaction spell, which is the Flare of Denial. The deck is featuring a lot of playsets, just because I believe that if a card is... I don't believe it's the right thing to do, but I believe if a card is powerful enough to be played, you want to play enough of them, and there have to be good reasons why you wouldn't do that. And those reasons I don't think apply here too well. The sideboard is running 3-offs, just because it's a little bit easier to get an overview when you're boarding, at least for me that is. And the curve of this list is quite nice. You're running one dedicated 1-drop next to the Ether Vial, and then you're running another 1-drop effectively, which can also be used as a 2-drop. For our 2-drops, we have the Lords, even though you really shouldn't play them on turn 2, because a 2-mana 2/2 is something that is not modern playable. We got our Tide Shaper as a 2-drop, right, because you can kick it. We got a Silver Elementor on turn 2, and we got the Hexcatcher on turn 2. And then we have as top end the Harbinger of the Seas, because she's incredibly powerful, even though most opponents can't play around her. And we got the Tishana's Tidebinder. I believe she's super powerful, but the main reason is I really like the card. So yeah, that's why it's in here. And I believe you have to have some sort of top end, and there's not really something that is comparable to the effect Tidebinders bring to the table. In our sideboard, there are Chalice, Consign, Dismember, Force, and Saloon, and as promised, I will talk about those cards in a second here. So let's switch to the visual view to get a little bit, or get a better overview of the deck's idea. So normally what I like to do with Merfolk is play as many flash Merfolks as I can. I try to get onto the board on turn 2 with like Hexcatcher or Trickster or Floodpit's Drowner, disrupt the opponent a little bit by disrupting their lands with Tideshaper or Harbinger, countering their stuff without sacrificing my board by using Force of Negation or Subtlety, which are great for tempo-oriented playstyle. And then if I manage to build a little bit of board presence over the course of turn 2 to 4, I try to get my opponent on turn 5 or turn 6. However, this idea is a little bit like the modern meta game is a little bit, how do you say, problematic, because there are a lot of decks that are just running their stuff out on turn 1, and if you're on the draw, even on turn 2, something relevant like Scion in Zoo or Weapons Manufacturing or Resolved Kappa is incredible fast and incredible hard to deal with, because you cannot, you don't have your second mana on the draw on turn 2, obviously, right? So you have to do something about that, and the idea of this list is that you just don't waste your first turn. And we are running 4 more copies of another 1-drop here because of that, which is the Mindspring Merfolk, and we are most likely running the Tideshaper as a 1-drop in this list as well, and then obviously we got our Ether Vial. Now, normally I would say playing a 1-mana 1/1 in the form of Mindspring Merfolk or Tideshaper is incredible bad. Like, what is the stat line? It's not even playable in draft. And then even the Silver Elementor is something that is not pushing tempo as I'm used to when playing Merfolk, but we have a secret. Oh, no, it's not a secret card, but we have a very powerful card up our sleeves if we're doing that, which is the Flare of Denial. By playing a 1-drop, it doesn't really matter how big the stats of the 1-drop are if you're just going to sacrifice it later into the Flare of Denial. And Flare of Denial hits everything in the current meta, right? Or most of the stuff. As long as it doesn't have an incredible powerful cast trigger like Ugin or something. But even then, flaring the target of Ugin is good enough, right? I just wanted to give an example here. So the idea is to get something on the board on turn 1, don't waste your turn 1, and then follow it up with either of the 1-drops. Like playing Tideshaper into Tideshaper, which is kicked on the second turn, is relatively strong, right? It's nothing compared to the stuff that Prowess or Energy can do, or even Zoo, but having a 1-mana 2/2 in play for Merfolk, it's huge, right? This is a huge stat line in a deck that has understated creatures most of the time. For the Silver Mentor, this is especially true because 2 mana for a 2/1 that makes a 1/1, so 3/2 total in stats, is again something that Merfolk normally didn't have, right? Most of our creatures are like 2 mana 2/2s, like these Lords, or the Hexcatcher, which is a 2 mana 1/1 even. And if you look at the other Flash Merfolks, they're also very understated. The Harbinger is a 3 mana 2/2, the Tidebinder, I mean this is not a Flash creature, right, but it's still the same idea. And the Tidebinder is a 3 mana 3/2. And while this is a stat line to laugh about, on a Merfolk, all these stat lines are pretty okayish. And this is because they don't stay that way, right? Your 2 mana 2/1 is not going to stay on 2 mana 2/1 or 2 mana 2/1 plus a 1/1. And because with a single Lord, you don't play a 2 mana 3/2, you play a 2 mana that has 5 power suddenly. And if you stick another board to the play, that's going to be a 2 mana Merfolk with 7 power actually. And 2 mana for 7 power suddenly is something that's very playable in Modern. And this is true for the 1-drops as well, right? Your 1 mana 1/1s can escalate with 2 Lords to a 1 mana 3/3, which is almost on Zoo level. And then the general idea of Merfolk obviously is and was to run these creatures into your opponent in an unblockable manner, right? So it doesn't really matter if your opponent's creatures are just a little bit bigger or if they can double block or whatever, because hopefully they can't. If they fetch Shocking a lot in the early turns, then you just have to connect like 2-3 times with 2 creatures on the board, and then you're good. So this list is something that is very straightforward to play, and it's also very aggressive, because playing your 1-drop into any of the 2-drops with a Flare of Denial backup in hand is super strong. Like, you counter one of the 2 threats that your opponent is likely going to have in hand with the Flare, or even with a Hexcatcher, or later into the game, or second or third game with your sideboard plan, and then you're just pushing through on the following turns. So there's no trickery involved. You don't have to think about your Trickster or Floodpit's Droner to have the right spot, like, should I keep this Trickster back to maybe hit a target that's a little bit bigger, or should I just flash it in end of turn 2 to have a little bit more pressure on the board early? Because these creatures are not Flash Merfolks, there's nothing really to decide about. You just jam them when you can on your first possible turn, and then you follow it up with whatever, and that should do the trick most of the time. And the follow-up after the second turn is going to be either Harbinger, which can be a powerful lockdown. Again, with Flare in hand, it's very easy to sacrifice one of your creatures. Like the Civil Mentor even leaves back another token, so it is like half a creature that you're sacrificing here. And then you can protect her very well, or you just get your opponent with the unsuspected Tidebinder, which is also very nice with Flare of Denial, because your opponent cannot be sure if your 3 mana that you're keeping open is just a hardcast Flare to hit their targets, or you're just bringing in a Tidebinder for an extra tempo gain when stifling an important ETB or activated ability, right? And then again, 3 mana, 3/2 creature here on the Tidebinder or stat line on the Tidebinder is like the best Merfolk has to offer. So this is not a 3/2, this is a 4/3 of a 5/4, which is going to be a very strong clock in the following turns. I believe this is all there is to say, really, right? Hexcatcher, great synergy with the Mentor and the first the 1-drops, right? Vial is very nice in a deck that's curving out that well. The Flare of Denial is, I try to have a heuristic for that, but I can't really wrap my head around it. But I believe in this deck, it's like a 1 mana suspended counter spell that you can activate at any time, because all you're going to sacrifice, or most of the time, are either not worthless, but 1-drops, or one of the half of the Mentor. So let's say this is 2 mana, or these are 2 1 mana 1/1s, like the main body plus the token, and you're sacking 1/2, then the Flare of Denial is a counter spell that is costing 1 mana. And while you have your creatures in play and your Flare and Denial is still in hand, you can just go attack your opponent for 1, 2, 3 damage each turn. So it's even a little bit better than that. Alright. Land base, nothing to say. You can play other utility lands if you want, I believe. I don't like Glasspool Mimic, because Glasspool Mimic is a tapped land in a deck that wants to do stuff on curve, right? So yeah, I really like Mutavault. It's like one of the reasons to play Merfolk next to the Lords. This is the next best thing about Merfolk, right? Because you're playing effectively a man land that has 3 or 4 power and can be activated for 1 mana. And there are a lot of spots in which I'm going into a not grindy end game, but where my opponent is top decking and I'm top decking, but I'm able to swing in for 2 or 4 damage if I have 1 or 2 Mutavaults in play each turn, and then my opponent is just falling over. And there are also a lot of situations where my opponent is having like an island, but it's still a board stall somewhat, and then I top deck a Lord, can just activate my Mutavaults and swing in for 6 damage, and that's GG then in that case. The Sink into Stupor is super powerful and basically only really playable in lists like these because it's mono blue. We can run 4 of them, we can cast them quite reliably. It's, as the Mutavault, it's not a creature, but it's just a non-creature spell, so these are not really lands, which greatly helps with our late game. The Cavern of Souls can be trimmed a little bit, I believe, but I really like to not get countered by my opponent, and the Cavern of Souls helps with that, obviously. The Otawara is super free as a single copy. I believe there are like 2 more legendary lands that you can run, but those have effects that don't really matter. And stocking up on a lot of basics helps us to naturally play around the Boros land destruction deck in the current meta. The sideboard is super straightforward as well. We have Force of Negation versus powerful non-creature spells, combo decks, but even if you have to force something in the first or second turn and we are on the draw and our Flare of Denial might not be up in that spot, we have Consign to Memory because of all the Eldrazi decks basically, and sometimes we're running out of sideboarding options, and then we can still bring in the Consign to hit something if we really need to. Dismember is needed in my opinion versus all the creature combo decks like Yawgmoth, for example. or even aggressive creature decks like Prowess or Energy, because Resolved Voice of Victory or a Guide of Souls is incredibly hard to deal with. Chalice of the Void is here, not because there are a lot of Cascade decks or something like that, but more because we have to have like a unfair win condition versus Prowess and Energy. By resolving Chalice on the second turn, we can get like a third to half the deck, which helps us into those matchups as well. Problem with Chalice is that it's a little bit slow on the draw, and you have to be wary about all your 1-drops, like your Tideshaper, Minds from Merfolk and Vial cannot be cast after that unless you got a Cavern of Souls into play. So if you're playing Chalice, you should probably cut one of these out of your deck, right? So you don't run into too many risks of drawing multiple of these after resolving a Chalice. Then this Sviloon is basically in here to have a little bit more grind versus slow matchups. There are matchups where the Ether Vial is very bad in, so you can just swap out the Ether Vial for the Sviloon, and it is also a very nice card versus spot removal heavy decks to just jammer on curve on turn 3, and then you're basically, I mean, you're not safe, but you can be in a very nice spot, especially if you have your standard curve out like 1-drop, 2-drop Sviloon. This can be very, very powerful, especially with a flare backup, right? But flare backup is always very nice. Alrighty. Alright, we're back. Playing another challenge here. Alright, hard to toss the sound, right? Got Vial into 1-drop into 2-drop. So I guess I'm going to keep that. Even got some interaction here. Problem is, I believe my opponent is on something very aggressive here. Don't know why he didn't Moonshadow first, maybe he drew that. Turn 1. It's going to be super rough to win this one. Triple flares, somewhat annoying, right? Oof, Steel Cutter main. Also very rough. So this is basically a Prowess deck, I guess, and only that he's playing Moonshadow instead of, I mean, he's playing Channeler. He's reading the card, so probably not a land, huh? Little bit unlucky. I'm taking 5 turn 2 here. Next turn I will probably take another 7, so I'm down to 8. Don't think there's a coming back. And the land pickup here is kinda nice actually. The resolved Steel Cutter is unfortunate. Have to find a way back into the game here. Fear of missing out. So this thing has haste, right? When this creature attacks, the first time each turn, either 4 more card types and then cards in your graveyard, untap target creature. So I cannot allow that, right? Probably a little bit too dangerous. Oh, lava that. Yeah, this is such a ugly beat here. It's like... Wait, I thought this is only for creature spells. Or if this mana is spent on a creature spell. I can just scoop that here. Shred everything. But turn 3. 11 damage. Yeah. Unfortunate. Alright. So we're bringing in Chalice for sure. I'm bringing in Sumo for sure. Probably like Swiloon here. Let's see. So the consign is not too good, obviously. So the problem with Flare is it needs an enabler. The enabler is here, right? I mean, it doesn't really need an enabler. Can probably just cut the 1-drop here. Doesn't need an enabler on the play, that is, right? Since we're on the play, we'll probably do it like that. So I really like Harbinger. Alright, let's cut 2 Harbingers here. Because Swiloon is pretty good, huh? I believe so, at least. Potent block. Alright, so now we can cut 2 more flares, I believe. And then we should be good to go. Let me take a quick peek at its sideboard. Oh, Meltdown. If he's bringing that in, the Chalice will not stand a chance. So we have to protect the Chalice probably. Thought says Damping Sphere. Very clean sideboard he got there. Could also bring out the vial. I believe I like the Hex Catcher either way. Let's just run it like that, I guess. So what are we looking for here? Looking for Chalice, Vial, 1-drop, 2-drop. Alright, let's see. Need a fast hand, I believe. This hand is fast enough. No, it's not fast enough, but it has a Chalice. Opponent is just keeping 7 as well. Don't believe there's a lot. Another Moonshadow start, another guys. It's actually fine. Bobble. No bobble. Alright, we didn't draw. And this is a problem with the hair, right? I don't think we can get it out of here. We can't toss it away, right? But now we are kinda stuck on Lord of Lords until we draw a blue source. Cycling. Kobe Steel Cutter here. No baubles, not kinda nice. I say I need a land here and I top decked it. So he cut, he is fetching for a basic obviously. So that's pretty nice. I'm going to Tidebinder, the story Curry Steel Cutter here I believe. Then we can think about... Yeah, we're not going to stop that I think. Surveil trigger. It's kind of obvious what I got in hand, right? Lightning Bolt is working quite well, in response to that. So this means he's going to Steel Cutter. Or activate the Steel Cutter here. Detective's Phoenix. Wait, did I miss something? No, I didn't. He can cast this from hand. Okay. Quite problematic that the Golf is flying. It's only a 4/5, right? Could always be worse. Let's see what we draw here. Apparently nothing. So I want to have the most power in play as quickly as possible. The Silver Mentor is probably that kind of power, right? If I play a lot here, I'm pushing 4, he's 9. I have 6 plus 2 is 8 next turn. If I play the Mentor, he's a 10. I have 5 plus 4 is still 9. If I draw land, it's lethal either way. I'll play the Lord here. How about in miscount? 4 plus 5 is 9. If I play the Mentor and after that the Lord, now he's at 9 and I play a Lord, it's 8. So he's at 1 both times. If he's going to fetch, but I don't think he should, or he will. Fear of missing out. This makes it a little bit more difficult, obviously. Scouting a push. Wait, is push main board? Push is not main board. So I'm looking at a totally different list here. I have to run through him this time. Alright. Because he can untap the Nether Golf next turn. This is an enchantment. Blocking here is going down to 1, he can surveil. I get hit for 6. Even with a second Phoenix it should be alright. The flying Nether Golf is kind of a problem. I think deck is incredibly hard to beat, right? Basically have him on lockdown with the Chalice here. I'm still dead. Almost dead, right? Not scooping makes me feel a little bit nervous. Alright. So he's probably bringing in Meltdown now. Right. I would do that. But maybe he thinks it's not worth it. He's just cutting out 1-drops. So I think I want to... Because Chalice is a little bit slow on the draw, even though it's super strong. And I believe he needs to run Meltdown. Probably I want to change the sideboard plan here a little bit. Which means, oh wait, the Dismember is still very useful. Which means I want to load up on flares. Let's, before we do anything too crazy here, let's just play whatever we want, like this. Forces as well for the Steel Cutter. I don't know if I can counter the Phoenix if he's bestowing it. Let me check that. I don't know. Alright, so the problem with Flare in this spot obviously is that the Ether Vial turn 1 can't interact too well with the second turn. Maybe I want to cut Ether Vial altogether and go more for a controlling approach. Oh wait, I need to bring in the Mindspring Merfolk. Like that. So Harbinger is needed, I think. So like this would require me to cut more cards. Is the Mentor strong enough? Is the Hexcatcher strong enough? The Hexcatcher is probably not strong enough. And then we're bringing one Tidebinder, one Harbinger in as well. Alright, submit like that, I guess. Now we don't run wild. Just have to be... But yeah, this is exactly what we want, right? Enough lands to curve out. Opponent is keeping 7. Unlucky. Stay away from me. Stop playing 1-drops, man. Alright, the Channeler. It's obviously huge. This is a very nice draw. Not going to lie. So the Mindspring Merfolk is not doing too much here. It's more of I am getting... This is in his upkeep, right? Ah, there's his Meltdown. There's the Meltdown, right? So he hopefully doesn't draw land. Feels alright, man. And I believe we're going strong here. So Tideshaper probably, or the Lord. Can play the Lord and then next. So if I play the Tideshaper here and he top decks land, then he's back into the game. I have to sacrifice the Tide Shaper. If I play the Lord here, the Lord gets bolted, however. Alright, let's play the Tide Shaper. Let's gamble a little bit if he's showing weakness like that. And then just... So we could sacrifice that. Yup. But, okay. Keeps it on top, which means it is a land. This is going to be a mountain, I believe. No, it's not. Faithless Looting. Very strong draw here. But now I can deploy the Harbinger. This is also Snow Melton is also sorcery. He kept it on top. No wait, it was a Lava Dart. Phoenix, Faithless Looting. Alright, now I really don't want to use the Sink into Stupor here. But yeah. Sometimes that's all that's left, right? Alright. Mini's at 14. I'm at a 5-turn clock. He's completely locked from his mana. So as long as he's not ripping something huge here, I should be fine. Lord is excellent because it's... Oh, no. Ah! I'm sorry for that. I threw some cards around where they shouldn't belong. Alright, so now the Lord comes in and I have more power on board than he got. Alright. Bauble can enter. Fear goes into the graveyard. Looks at his own deck. And he is deciding if he wants to scoop that. We didn't use the flare yet. Alright, we have exactly 11 on the board. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Very nice, very nice. Alright, we are back. This is an unknown opponent. So this is a tough question here, right? Normally I'd like to look for a 1-drop. I like to look for Flare. But at least I got double blue in this hand. 2 castable Merfolks, both of which are pretty okay-ish. So I guess I'm keeping. Opponent is mulligan into 6. Alrighty, Island Anthem, just pass. Let's see what he's going to play. I'm sorry for not... There's no other play than Flash and deck. Flash and Hexcatcher end of turn, right? So he's on Vengeance. Grizzlebrand. Oops. Should have played the Hexcatcher in this spot. Oh no. I didn't pay attention. I should have played the Hexcatcher before he's going into his turn, so that I have a way. I didn't play a frog. Oh no. This is a rough spot here. If I play the Hexcatcher now, he can cast Vengeance on the Grizzlebrand. It's probably alright because it can't attack, right? It's not like it's a Traxa. It's like drawing a million cards. But yeah, there was a little bit of how do you say? Hiccup. Yeah. Alright, so I got punished for being too... Wait, it's at the beginning of the next end step, right? So you can pay that all the time. What do we want to do here? Aye. Land would have been great because of the Tidebinder. I was probably just going to draw a 7 a single time. So if this is going to happen, then I probably have to play a Lord here and push a little bit of damage. Let's see. Oh no, second game of the challenge and I'm already... Alright, he can pay once. He can keep all these sweet cards in his hand for next turn as well, because he's doing it now. He's paying another 7. How does he... Alright, combat. At least the Hexcatcher gets Island Rock here, right? Ah, it's just a normal... Alright. I thought he's... I don't know, man. I checked his MTG. Yeah, that was terrible, right? Alrighty. Damn, what a glorious performance by me. Nope. You got it, King. What do you exile? I thought of, for some reason, he's on Dimir. I don't know why I thought that. Probably got fooled by the Dimir Lancer. Can I even win against anything he has now? I think a single Grizzlebrand is enough. Can make this rock infinitely big. Ulamog the Defiler. Alright. This game was completely free. Alright, let's try to get out of the tilt. So it's a 10-10. this turn. At least I'm not dying right away. If I draw land, maybe I got another shot. But the series looks like he has a fatal push in hand, right? Don't know what we need here. Discard Strand Riddler. Discard Cementing. Yeah. Nothing to do here. I don't know, at this I guess. So I'm getting hit 2 times now, and there's no reason I can... Alright, I can just concede that. Because he's going to fly with the fork and then I'm dead in 2 turns. Alright, I'm very sorry for that. Just don't do what I'm doing at home, huh? Alright, we probably want flare and we want force, right? Dismember, I don't know, man. It's alright versus the frog. But if they can just dump their hand, it's a little bit rough. So I probably want to play 1 consign then instead. So Harbinger stops them from having their double white source, but let's get it out. I like my Rakdos tide quite a bit more. I'm keeping that. Don't have a counter spell yet, but the tide burn was almost as great. And then we're going to play the Synchro into Stupor untapped here. Well, against the 5. I don't deserve that. I deserve to lose this one. That was completely unhinged. By me. I really have to work on that. Like on my tilt, right? I feel like I'm tilted and then I feel like I'm stuck in the last game and then I'm going to play worse, so let's just try to leave that behind me and focus on a fresh new game. Let's just call it unlucky, right? Unlucky that he surveilled a Neo brand. A Grizzle brand into his graveyard. Couldn't have done anything. Alright, so fresh to a new start. We're going to play the Super here. We're going to play the Ether here. So the matchup versus Vengeance is quite interesting. I was under the impression that you have to counter the first attempt of comboing off and then just kill them. But since they have such a control-y shell, it's very hard to kill them in time through their sweepers and their removal and their Ephemerate and Solitude and the like. Alright, Scum. You got it, King. This guy's running into... Either I'm running... Oh no, I don't, because I have the flare now. I was going to say I'm running into Ephemerate Solitude probably. I fetched a white card away. Alright, so this... So what I wanted to say... Alright, get punished once, I guess. What I wanted to say is that they will control enough so you can't kill them fast enough, and then you're in a little bit of trouble. Tap, okay. Because normally to circumvent that, right, to play around, I think I'm going to go all in here. I have the flare as the backup. Do I have to go all in though? 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 3. It's 12, so we don't have to. Can just attack and then next turn get him. Alright. So normally to play around the fact that control is just killing your stuff, I'm getting a little bit... Wait, what did he put away? Truxa. Sorry, I will talk about this before because I'm getting distracted all the time. So normally the controlling player removes your stuff, right? And then to beat that, you put down as much pressure as you need, but not too much so you don't get blown out. Right? You're playing like 2 Merfolks a turn, or you're having 2 Merfolks in play, and then you're attacking and they remove one of them, you're putting back only 1 next turn. So that they take a continuous amount of damage and then turn 9, turn 10 they just fall over. But versus this shell, if you do that, then they will find the missing combo piece turn 8 or turn 5 or whatever, and then they will just go all in with their Truxa, and then you're in quite the trouble. So I have yet to figure out how to win versus them. So the play is a little bit easier. You can just put down your creatures and then go attack them and have some counter backup. Alright, so let's think about this. This is a Solitude Ephemerate the way he played it, right? So I believe I just want to put back the Solitude. And then if he's going again, because he already invested a card into that, I will use my less important counter spell here to bounce that. We could also, yeah, this is alright. What? Alright, this is interesting actually. So I use Desync into Stupor because if he has a Mystical Dispute here, like he did, or counterspell, then it doesn't hurt too much, right? Alright, so last card in hand is probably a Ephemerate, which is quite alright because he is on 2 and he can't flicker that one now. And I have enough pressure on board to kill him in 2 turns, right? Next turn is another 5, and then with Lord it should be lethal. Oh, he got a frog. It's still alright, the frog will not get him back. Maybe I played around the wrong thing here. Maybe he doesn't have Ephemerate, because he could have just done that in his own turn with the Mystical Dispute backup, now that I think about it. So the Lord of Atlantis is going down, so I can freely attack for 5. Maybe I want to activate the Muta Vault as well. Ah, surely I want to do that. Then I have 2 cards in hand. He's down to 4 in this spot. He will get a single trigger off the frog. Alright, so this worked quite well. But then we have to remember that he mulliganed down to 5. Mystical Dispute is interesting here, because I'm running Vial. On the draw I probably want to bring in Teferi, Consign for Solitude triggers, right? Maybe this can protect something. Creature against flying and Land of Tron. Putting down a Truxer. Did he find everything he needed? That would be awesome. He didn't. Damn. Alright, so let's think about this. Like, he kept in the Reanimator package, right? So I believe his hand quality needs to be worse. Yeah, but the problem is if you get blown out by Solitude or a sweeper effect, they can just outgrind, they can do anything, right? They can outcontrol you until they stick either their combo, like Riddler plus Frog is almost as problematic. As in resolve the trucks, alright. Alright. So Harbinger stays out. Consign gets back in. I mean, the Dismember can be nice versus the Frog, I guess. I don't know, man. It's really rough to say. Wait, did I make a mistake? Why are there 2 consigns in here? Did I just put them? No, I just put them in, right. I'm stupid. I was looking away for a second to think about something. Alright, so maybe Consign, maybe Dismember. Let me check his list. The Dismember doesn't hit the Riddler is kind of a problem. Alright, what card do we not want in here? We like all the cards. We like them all and we want them all. Is Tidebinder too slow? Be honest. Maybe Vile is a little bit rough. Alright, and then maybe top decking 2 consigns is too much. So maybe I just want to have 1 more of these. And then maybe another 1 of these, because Frog is like the most problematic thing. Alright, let's get 3 Dismembers in here actually. I don't know, maybe I should have done that before, because yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know how to play this. Alright, so this is a keep. Opponent is mulliganing again, and I don't really deserve, I really don't deserve that. Alright, keeping 6. Nothing. Question is, do we want to play the island here? Not going to attack with the Muta World next turn. And then we have to ask the question if we want to play the other Ether Vial next turn, or if we want to. He's looking for a land, huh? Incredible. It's so incredible what luck I got. Damn. I feel really bad about this. Alright, since we got a little bit more time here. Does he run pest control? He does one copy. So can get punished by playing a Vial here. Let's play the Vial next turn, I believe. But what? Nah, let's not actually. What if he got a Stern Scolding or something? I wouldn't pass. I should have done this the other way around, right? Because maybe he got a Spell Snare in hand. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Alright. Alrighty. What now? Do you want to run out the Silver Gilmentor? Running out the Silver Gilmentor here means I'm running out. Okay, so now I'm checking if he got a maybe got a counter spell like Mystical Dispute, right? Nah, I'm not. I'll just chill another turn. Don't care. Don't have to run into too much. Okay, but we're going to play the Sink to have a hard cast. Flare of Denial here, almost missed that. Alright. I know he's afraid, right? He's afraid of the Tidefinder. No, he's not, because he got maybe a Mystical in hand. But maybe he doesn't, and then he needs to be super afraid. Because why would I bolt in? Why would I bolt that in? Alright. Alright, now he should do it, right? Because I can tick up the Vial. I'm not ticking up the Vial then, I guess. I mean, I have Flare back up here. Do you just want to push it all? He can deal a lot of damage. Alright, let's think about this first. It's not the first decision, right? But can push 2 more. Nah, 2 more is not worth it. I don't want to play the Lords now. Don't want to run into any Solitude shenanigans, I guess. You got it, King. Couldn't have done it. Alright, shock. What does the shock mean? Talk to me. Faithful Mending. So would he keep a hand like that without a Vengeance? Maybe I want to flare that. Oi, 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 oi. Once again, I'm in quite the trouble. So a flare here. How much damage do we push next turn? Alright, let's just flare that. Because we don't want him to gain life. We don't want him to loot his Atraxa away. We don't want him to... This is quite alright here. Because this is not... I think... I didn't count. But this sounds like I got him. And it depends a little bit. Can I hit this? I can even hit his black source. Alright, there's one of them ephemerate. So he had it. He should have just waited and played a little bit slower. And so now it's not enough. But this stays and the second one goes up. Mindspring Merfolk. So how much damage are we pushing here? 4, 8, still enough. 11. Alright, this is turn 5. Another one, but the Atraxa is at least in his graveyard now. Right, and then he needs to put 2 counters on that. No, a single counter is enough. Holy moly, I was so close to losing that. Damn. Alright. This goes here, so I can draw some cards if needed. Alright. He has 3 draws. It's paying costs. Riddler is extremely strong, but 2 Solitudes are already down. Doesn't attack. Alright. So he had an extremely strong hand there. All that was missing was a single land. So he's at 5. If I just attack, with everything, he's not dead. I don't like that. But then he cannot fetch at least. What if I just attack with the Muta Vault here? What if I take his black mana? Then he has to fetch. So attack. Hit black, white. I think I'm going to do that, right? Let's not screw it up. I activate the Muta Vault and attack. He's blocking the Muta Vault. Oh, this is still 5. Wait, I'm just cooked, right? It's just over. It's just over. I'm sorry, man. What the hell was wrong with me? Yeah, I got another push or something in hand. Always possible. Then he still has to... Wanna see something dank? The Mutawall gets the counter as well. See, funny, right? And then if it gets back into land shape. Alright, we got him. Alright, we got him. Alrighty. We're back. The chat is disabled. Show chat, show in-game log. Alright, we're back. Surely back now. His opponent is probably on creativity. Kind of difficult what I want to do here. I don't want to waste this hand, right? I mean, got in my interaction piece, got a violent 1-drop or 2-drop for that matter. My opponent is never mind. Okay, wait, what? I am so sorry. So this guy was playing until yesterday. This guy was playing Land Destruction, Tron, like the green Tron version, like on it's not Tron, like green ramp, green Eldrazi with the slumbering trudge. And yesterday he got first place with creativity, and now he's on this. Oh no, unlucky. Alright, let's not be up. Let's keep calm, I wanted to say. So we're going to play the Ether Whale here, right? Could have played the Tide Shaper. Oh, he's on burn. He is not even on. Oh, this is suddenly looking a lot better than. This is suddenly looking a lot better. Another Tide Shaper, quite nice. Alright, it's looking a lot better now. Because burn is very vulnerable. The start is quite strong. Problem here, obviously. He's off to a strong start. We're taking away his mountain instead of the white source, because Burrow's Charm is the only thing that hits me here. This is any target. I believe, right? Target is me. 3 cards in hand. The Swift Spear is already at. Alright. Searing Blaze. Quite strong. I'm going to flare that because it keeps my thing alive. And it also keeps me alive, right? So this is the best flare I think I will get this game. Alright, we are down to 8. Opponent has... If you draw a Harbinger here, he didn't. And this is a problem. Now I'm inclined to use the Stupor, but going down to 5 sounds super troll. So we're not doing that. I can't allow him to bolt me for free here, and the Tide Shaper is able to block the Swift Spear once. Goblin Guide, very nice. Get a Hex Catcher here. How do we want to block? He can only cast a single spell. The Swift Spear deals... wait a second. The Swift Spear deals as much damage as the Guide, but I can use the Tidebinder. What if he's going to bolt my... oh, this is a rough one, right? Okay, so if I... oh, no, I'm going to hit the Goblin Guide here. 2 mana for Skullcrack is very nice, I think. Let me think about this. So I'm getting hit for 3 unless I'm killing my own Hex Catcher here. What if I get... no, I'm getting hit for 5, so I'm going down to 3, which is a very dangerous number to be at. But I have to sacrifice the Hex Catcher. I don't have to sacrifice the Hex Catcher. I can just sacrifice the Tide Shaper. And then my opponent will be left with a 2-2 and a 1-2, and I will be left with a 2-2 effectively. I want to use this Stupor next turn. Oh, this is a little bit rough. So we have to counter that, right? We can't go down to 3 versus burn. So down to 5 is down to 4 is also a problem. Down to 6 is fine because it needs like 2 removal spells. Aye. Since we don't want to go down to 3 here, we have to sacrifice either the Hex Catcher or the Tide Shaper. Sacrificing the Hex Catcher will just trade off his Goblin Guide off the board, and then it will be my Tidebinder and my Hex Catcher versus his Swift Spear. Or I will keep the Hex Catcher in play by sacrificing the Tide Shaper, and then it will be three of my creatures versus 2 of his, which should be a little bit better, right? Okay, and the Goblin Guide might draw me another card here. Alright, we'll probably want more creatures in play. Down to 6 is fine. Alright, going to sacrifice the Tide Shaper in that case. Combat damage down to 6, going to end step, next turn. Now do we want to tick this up? We don't. Because we have the Hex Catcher. Alright, no attacks. Even though we can't wait too long. It's a little bit off tempo here. Two cards in hand. Double. Little bit afraid here. Searing Blaze deals 1 damage to me, 1 damage to my face, but I can't stop the Prowess trigger from working here. So this is exactly what we want. I mean, he needs to know that this is baiting the other Hex Catcher into play. I wonder why he didn't wait for... Because now he can sacrifice the Hex Catcher to whatever he got in hand. I wonder why he didn't bait. This makes it a little bit more difficult. However, if I sacrifice the Hex Catcher, then blocking is a little bit harder, but getting the Goblin Guide here. Alright, so this is going to do nothing. Maybe he's still attacking? No, he's not. Alright. I believe we are quite far ahead. This is going to stay on 2. Because of my mentor, of course. And then we're going to go to combat here. With our strongest soldier, which is this guy. She already did whatever we needed. Combat damage, 5. We got a Stupor. We got a mentor. We are so set to at least rip the first round here. Can always die to bold. Into bold. God, this is a little bit rough. What to do here? I mean, taking 3 is fine. Can I somehow sacrifice? Nah. And this guy isn't. Oh, we can counter that. Doesn't really care. We should probably attack with the guide and then use the spell he got in hand. Alright. End step. Alright. It's always possible that he's just going to overload me here. Overload me with cards, but the mentor was incredible. Next turn. Still stays on 2. Now we really need the Stupor to do work. Island. Doesn't matter. What if we full swing here? Blocks with the Swift Spear, blocks with the guide. It's taking 9. Alright, so in that case we're going in with these 2 beauties. Wait. If I bounce one of them, bounce, block. It's not enough, right? This is 9, 11. Okay, so only these two go in, I believe. The Merfolk token stays back. Hitting him for 9 should be enough for next turn. Probably wants to block anyway. Oop. Down to 9. Alright. Interesting. So the bounce spell here is incredibly useful. As usual. He bolted himself to get more leeway. This makes sense. Alright, now we're going in with the Etherwell tap here. Because he needs to be afraid, right? Alright. Last card in hand. Get back. Alright. Sacrifice the token here. And then he's dead, right? I don't have anything. It was all a bait. It was a bait all along. Combat. Blocks here. Takes 8. I found the lethal. Alright, burn is very rough. No, burn is not rough, right? But they have their tricks. So let me think. Consign. How does Searing work? Searing Blood or whatever. Modern, burn. Boris burn deck for modern. God. Alright, I was looking up the Searing Blood. When that creature dies, it deals 3 damage to target creatures or controller. Smashed with smithereens. Destroy target artifact. Ah yeah, Exquisite Firecraft is what I was looking for. So 1 minute 20 left. I was thinking about Consign here, right? The thing with Consign is, it can hit like Rift Bolt, right? It can hit Searing Blood, because those are reflexive triggers. I know, Searing Blood is a reflexive trigger, and Rift Bolt is a suspend trigger. It can even get some replicate shenanigans. Alright, so Saloon is a gimme. Harbinger, probably out. Alright, so what now? I have to be a little bit faster here. We're going to take the Force for sure. Then maybe 1 Chalice. Mindspring out. Swiloon out. Alright. That was a little bit too... Alright, this hand is relying on Chalice of the Void. So I'm going to keep it, I guess. Goblin Guide not really helpful here. Should have thought about Tide Shaper, enter the reveal zone, so we can play that now. Pretty nice. The Goblin Guide is filtering all the dead draws from my deck. This could be the landfall. Shenanigans. Silvergill Mentor entered the zone. Maybe I'm just not playing the Chalice here. Rift Bolt. Maybe I will play the Chalice here. Already down to 13 though. So since I top decked so well, maybe I don't need to show the Chalice. It's a little bit slow. And I can put down this Swiloon next turn. Alright, this should be enough blocking power here. It's a reason to get the Chalice into play. 2 manas, nice. Yeah, Searing Blood. Down to 7 we go. I'm gonna block that one. With 1 or with 2 creatures here? With 2 creatures. What now? Swiloon here or just run up the Chalice? Probably playing the Ether Veil first and then we're going to play the Chalice. Because the Swiloon is not blocking anything in his deck. Alright. Burrow's Charm to 3 we go. No Lightning Helix to 4 we go. Alright. Flare is excellent. So only Burrow's Charm really gets me here. Alright. Let's try to play for the board. I can take another 3. It's interesting that he has Lightning Helix in there. Three mana. Skewer the critics. Oh yeah. Alright. Down to 1 we go. Down to 1 is not 0. Alright. So now the Swiloon can start drawing cards. Wait, if I didn't explain it, I played the Swiloon after the Chalice, because if I play the Chalice on turn 3, there will be no hasty creature that this Swiloon can block anyway. So all he got left in hand are his spells, his spelly spells, right? His non-creature spells that can hit me. And The downside to that is that this Viloon will draw her card one turn later, which is now. Am I lagging? Oh no. Yeah, alright. My internet went down. Unfortunate. We will be right back. Alright. We shall be back. And we're going to combat here and I have only 5 more minutes. Nice. Internet went down. I will get in the Hexcatcher here because I have double flare up. And then I'm going to play the Stupor. And I have flare up, I have another Stupor in hand, and the next turn I can attack with the Mutavault while having another flare in hand. So this is going to be quite nice. If we're losing this game, which is still possible, then I will have to play extremely fast in the last game, which I probably cannot afford. So this stays on 2 again. Does it matter now if you attack with everything here? 7, 8, 9, 11, it doesn't. So we're just going to bring in the master here. Swing with everything. We should have attacked before bringing in the master, because maybe I draw a Silver Gilmento, and the Silver Gilmento is better Hexcatcher fodder. Alright. Alright. Searing Blood with Ward on 1. No response, he has to pay for that. And then I'm going to sacrifice the Mutavault here. Alright. The Hexcatcher is nice. Do you want to play it? Probably don't want to. I did sacrifice the Mutavault here. How much damage do we push? We have enough, right? 7, 10. I did sacrifice the Mutavault here because I want to have keep my flare in hand, right? So yeah. Even though I have 2 of them. No reason not to try. Alright, go in. Go swing 5. GG. Alright, we are back. Opponent has a single energy leak played this month and no other records. He mulliganed to 6 and I am keeping this hat. He's mulliganing to 5. Funnily enough, if they manage to find Guide into Ocelot, I will not be able to win the game. Alright, single Ocelot Pride might be good enough. Might be beatable if he doesn't have a second Pride as a follow-up here. Is this the third time this league somebody didn't hit their second land? Alright, we have to be a little bit careful that they don't run away with the game here. Another flare. Alright. Let's see. I'm very inclined to double block the Pride if he's going to attack with the Mentor. Well, I'm not so inclined anymore. Maybe he got a Najani. It is Burris energy. Single white source. Halia guided by light. Whenever Halia or another creature effect you control enters, you gain 1 life. At the beginning of your end step, you draw a life. If you gained, you draw a card if you gained 3 or more life this turn. Alright, let me think about this. It's a critical spot, I believe. So he found a land. He fetched for red. So it's possible. I just want to counter that actually. He might have a red spell here, right? A red removal spell. Because if he had a white source. No, if he had a white creature, he would have played it last turn. Wait, why didn't he play the Halia last turn? Because he needs to draw the card. So... But wouldn't he have been able to get it? Wait, am I stupid? He plays the Halia, the Ocelot Pride attacks. He's gaining 1 life. The Halia triggers when entering, so she gets another life, and then the cat token comes in and he gets a 3rd life. So then he can draw a card, right? So either way, I'm going to counter it because it's just triggering the Pride. It is a value card. He is low on cards. I still got a token, so I believe this is a red play, and we got 2 flares anyway, right? Next turn, depending on our draw, we can either get him with the Harbinger, or we can just run out 2 Silver Gilmentors and be happy about it. Don't really understand what he was doing there, so he probably got... I'm not blocking. Probably got a removal spell there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 permanents in play now. Red. Just a Ragavan. Alright. So I believe he just doesn't know about ordering his triggers, which might be good for us. Alright, next turn we go. This goes up, because then he might not have enough experience with playing Merfolk, right? Against Merfolk, I wanted to say. Alright. No response. We have to chill here a little bit, which is honestly fine. We got a flare as a backup. Alright, don't want to attack, just pass the turn. Nice basic choice. Goblin Bombardement. The card is not beatable, so I'm in my current spot, so I have to sacrifice another Merfolk here. Card too strong. Interesting. Goblin Bombardment. Halia. I wonder what he cut. Maybe Halia is just a fill-in for Voice of Victory. Is it even the correct pronunciation? Halia. Beyond the edge of faith lies eternal hope. So true. Actually so true. He's just ripping in here with everything. But this is too risky, right? Only the two. Wait, the Raga one wants to die. Raga one can die. I value my 1 token more than his cat tokens, because I might draw a lot someday. Alright, he drew another land. End step. Alright, next turn, it's Harbinger time. Depending on what we're drawing, we want to activate the Mutavault. We don't want to do that. Do we want to attack here actually? Leaves us kind of naked. But I mean, what is he going to do? He has to be afraid of X-Catching. Alright, let's just attack with 2 of them. And then just bring in the Hexcatcher. Don't even have to play around anything here. Alrighty. It's a little bit of damage we can push. 2 white for Voice of Victory. Voice of Victory, so he got it. Still not too sure what he cut for that value thing. Maybe Fable is too slow nowadays. Alright. Someday we have to hit another playable card, I guess. Not like this. What do we want here? Can attack. What if we attack with the Harbinger? He needs to triple block it. What if we just full swing? Oh, nah, we're not going to do that. Alright, we're not out of the vet group, sadly. Attack with the Harbinger, not attack with the Harbinger here. So attack with the Harbinger, he's sacrificing 2 of his tokens for it, into it. Ah, this is just bad. I mean, it unlocks the Mutavault, but whatever, really. You can sacrifice 2 tokens here, but this will just leave him open for a Harbinger attack next turn. Alright. Yikes. Yeah, Johnny is very strong. Because he doesn't have a red permanent to go along with it. It's kinda scary, to be honest, because he's making a lot of cats. Everything! No, this is not right? I mean, these are not cats. Oh, maybe because of the City's Blessing. Yeah, this makes sense. Alright. Sure. Here. Do we want to actually kill everything? Oh, he makes a lot of tokens, right? And then he got the red permanent as well. Can we actually? We can't block everything, and I can't attack. Oh, this is a tough decision here, right? Because the Ajani flips if I block the cat, and this is a red permanent. Alright. So let's block here. Let's block here. If we block the Ocelot Pride... Oh, he's making a lot of cat tokens. Can also block the Pride with one of the Merfolk tokens here. Wait, maybe this is actually the way to do it. Alright. Let's take another 2 minutes here to finish the game. So we can block both of these tokens with the Merfolk tokens. So the Harbinger is always going to block here. And then one of the tokens is always blocking here. And now we have the decision to make. We can block with the Hexcatcher, another token, and then we are losing our board effectively. But he is also not making a Cat Warrior token. He's flipping the Ajani, and then he cannot. Wait, what does it say on the backside? No, this is just bad, right? You're going to do it like that. Have your cats, I guess. Have to draw something, sadly. Wait, he didn't make the other tokens? Huh? I don't get it. Ah, because they didn't enter. Alright. Yeah, they need to be on the board. Lord of Atlantis is quality top deck here. How much damage? Alright. Sorry. 4, 6. Wait, let me just count. 4, 7, 8, 11. Am I lagging again? Uh-oh. If I have another internet outage here for 5 minutes, then I will not be able to finish the last game in time. Och nö. This is a little bit sad. Yeah, looks like it. Alright, we are going to be back, I guess. Sorry. Alright, we are back. Alright, maybe we're not back. Alright. Sorry for that loud. Alright, we have to be. Oh, I'm sorry. For that loud. How do you call it? I don't know. We have to be a little bit quicker for the second game here, sadly, because we have left 11. We have 11 minutes left, right? And it can be very grindy, and also it's super complex. So yeah. So I'm not sold. I'm still not sold about Chalice on the draw versus them, right? I believe it's very nice on the play. So maybe we should do the same as versus Shadow, versus Moonshadow, right? But Moonshadow has at least forceable cards, and Force is super bad in this matchup. So we don't have to do that. So we're bringing in Chalice then. Made my decision. And because we're bringing in Chalice... so the problem here, to explain, is that Chalice stops my Merfolk, my 1-drops, right? But the... No, wait. Another start. I don't have enough things to do versus energy. Flare, for example, is just not that great. Chalice is too slow on the draw, and Dismember is fine. Flare works best with my 1-drops. But Chalice stops those 1-drops from being played late into the game. So normally I would bring in Chalice, and then I would cut the 1-drops, but then Flare gets even worse than it is already on this matchup, so I don't really want to do that. Let me cut the Ether Vial, I believe, and bring... No wait, let me cut even more. So the Hexcatcher is also something that shouldn't be played, I guess, and then we're going to play this Viloon. And then we are going to cut one of the 1-drops. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope my mic doesn't make any weird sounds now. So maybe like that. So the Vial is out because I have to do something on turn 1. Maybe actually bring that back and bring... Alright, like that, I guess. Alright. Sorry for the hasty explanation from the boarding here, but I have to be a little bit quicker this time. Alright, this is a keep, we have a 1-drop, we have interaction. 2 things to do, alright. And then we can even curve out into the Harbinger maybe. So let's try if we can. Opponent is mulliganing one more time to 6. I will test something with my mic because I may have done something to it that makes a weird noise. 1 sec. Alright, maybe it's better now. Opponent mulligan to 6 and then you put something down. And now we have to be quicker. Right, opponent has no 1-drop, which probably means he has a Voice of Victory second turn, right? Luckily for us, ooh, very nice draw. We have a 1-drop ourselves. And we can deal with this with a 2-drop here. So this might be a Survey land, and if he's not putting a land back into the... Alright, so he found what he needed. Which means we have an actual game on our hands now. Alright, Iron is on. Fetch. Probably Voice. right. Goblin Bombardment is actually beatable because I got this Viloon here. Flare is very nice as well. Wish I had that a little bit earlier, but it is what it is. I was thinking about playing the island here to activate the Mindspring Merfolk end of turn, just to be safe from the bombardment, but maybe this would have been a good play because of the... this might be Ajani. The Ajani will get dismembered here for sure. Or do we actually flare it? No, we're just going to dismember it. And we have to do it now, because if we wait for it, he can just sacrifice. I mean, he can sacrifice it now anyway, right? Alright. There it goes. And he's left with a 2-mana 2-2. 2-1. Tidebind is very nice here. I wonder what we want to play first. Maybe got another Ajani. Interesting position. He didn't find a land. Don't know what his options are here. Maybe we just want to pass. Maybe we want to pass the turn. We can counter anything he's going to play, and if he's playing something that we want to stifle, then we will stifle that. And if he's not doing anything, then we can... or is playing a fetch land. What is this? It's another Ajani. Alright, this is very rough, because we can't progress the board state here. Alright. Even though I would like to do that. Another Merfolk. I want to play this Viloon when I'm on the board with the Tidebinder, so the Mutavault can protect this Viloon here, right? Voice of Victory with the Arena of Glory would also be a little bit problematic. I wonder if I want to stifle that fetch if he's cracking it. This might be a Ranger. Ranger is actually fine, because we can stop that. Alright, no, we don't have enough time for tapping mana correctly here. It is what it is. So this stops these things, it's pretty nice. Wonder what he got in hand. Wonder if I want to block here. Alright, I guess we're not going to block. Have to be a little bit careful about our life total. This is a nice one. Let's play these Viloon here. And let's see what he is going to do in this position. He lets it resolve. It's kind of nice, because now we have an indestructible Viloon on the board. He's probably going to surveil. Voice of Victory is going to be the biggest problem here alongside Ajani. Keeps it on top, so it's a good one as always. We can use the island and activate the Mutavault at any time. to make her indestructible and just repeating stuff. That's pretty... one red. Alright, yeah, this is just... Oh, now we can kill it with both cards, right? Could have activated the... Maybe I don't want him to have the energy here. I should have activated the Muta Vault before that, but then he would have still be able to... I'm going to activate the Muta Vault here, because he needs to sacrifice. He needs to work for that. Alright, what? Alright, he doesn't know about... Oh, this is a little bit annoying. I'm so sorry, bro. Now he has to sacrifice both cards. He doesn't. Wait, he needs to sacrifice his creatures. Oh no, he cannot attack. No, he cannot pass. You need to sacrifice that. You're just wasting 2 cards here. No, what are you doing, bro? Just be a little bit more considerate of your mana. Alright. All of your cards. That was just incredible play by him. Alright, Sviluun is going in here, I believe. Then we have a Stupor. Can also... That is a nice one. Combat damage. I believe we don't want to play the Harbinger here, because we can bounce something on the stack in response to... It's just going in for 5 here. Might as well block with the Muta here, right? Let's just block, I guess. Wait, why did I do it? Ah, it's fine. Alright, let's take another 2 here. It's possible that he got a Wrath in hand, right? Which I can actually bounce. No, he doesn't. This is something he can... What is he targeting? This? Alright. Please pay for it. Wait, did he pay for that? Yeah, he paid for that. Ah, he tapped 2 in directly. If I bounce it... Alright, no, it's just dead. Alright, end step. Now we probably want to play the Stupor, right? But on what? The bombardment? Then he has to do something against the Mindspring Merfolk in this position. Well, let's get that back, and then we can drop the Harbinger next turn. Alright, maybe we don't want to drop the Harbinger. Let's drop the Harbinger here. Alrighty. Let's draw a card, I guess. I'm playing too bad. I'm playing super bad here. Another Stupor. It's amazing. I'm so terrible at this game right now. It's like time pressure's always getting me. It's getting me real good here. White card, can bounce that. Stupor was a nice draw with the Sif. Raven Charm. Gotta pay for the ward cost. And then I'm going to bounce that. Because it's 4, right? Even if I tap that, doesn't do anything. And now I'm running him over next turn in his... Oh, the Ranger Captain is always something to consider if it's about... whatever. He's going to hit me for 5. Before... I'm not blocking 3, of course. This should be giga lethal here. Wait, is it though? Oh, now it is. But it wasn't lethal. I can't count. But now it is. Another Lord. Holy cow. Perfect draw. Opponent was not paying attention. There we got him. GG. Alrighty. We are back. We are starting the game here. Versus Matthias KM, and Matthias KM is playing everything. So... and now he's playing control. Wild. We're going to keep this hand. Yeah, perfect. Since I'm on the draw, on the play, I'm just going to run out the mines from Merfolk here. I was thinking about playing the Tide Chapter here because it's pushing more damage versus a deck that's going to run islands anyway, right? But maybe that was the right thing to do just because of the Scepter. God, I hate Scepter. Let's get in this. Do it now before I can counter it, right? Normally I would have waited until this end step, but I don't want to run into any counter spell here. And like this we can... counter the Scepter. Either way, pushing a little bit more damage. I wonder what I want to do here. Probably just run out the Tidebinder, the Harbinger. But you might have a Solitude for that. Consult the star charts. You can have that. Just Harbinger on turn 1, on turn 3. Cuts him off his white sources. Cuts him off of fetches. Yeah. Now we can fish for a bit. With his Solitude. Ah, well, he didn't need to fetch, or he fetched for too long. For that. There it is. What a beauty. But he 2-for-1'd himself for that. Narset. Narset is super strong. He's digging very deep with it. I can either let him have a card for one of mine. Alright. That's actually an interesting decision to make here. Actually interesting decision. I have to I mean, the question is, are my cards worth more than his? And it's probably like that. Have to preserve a little bit of power on board here. The Teferi I would have countered, obviously, because that card is way too strong. Orm's Chant. So Supreme Verdict is a problem. Can try to get his. Alright, I guess we can also just play another Harbinger. And hit the Narset here, huh? Comes a little bit. No, we can't. Because of Days Undoing, we need to do both, right? So he found a chant. It's possible that he can scepter me in this spot. Which is fine because I have the Tidebinder. Cards can even attack here. Alright, another 2 for 1, 3 for 1 even. Combat. Alrighty, we are so ahead here. Everything went perfect. Oh, rip planes off the top, and suddenly it's not that perfect anymore. Another Narset. It's fine. Don't see how this is going to find anything of relevance. Nope. Wrath of the Skies will not be enough. Can't use the Scepter, and now he's just falling over, no? 7, 10. I mean, I have enough damage here. Don't I? I'm going to play this. Combat. Attack him, attack him. Attack him like this, I guess. Alright. Little bit of extra value from the Tide chip, from the Mindspring there. Maybe that was just too good. I don't know. I believe if he is able to remove something, then I will have more power in play after that. Like 1 more power. And this was just 1 on so many levels. Alright, okay, so this is a very nice matchup, I believe, traditionally. So we got some forces here, we have some flares here, we can bring in 1 consign for the Solitude, I guess. And then on the draw we want to play more consigns, right, because of the Scepter shenanigans. Alright, what is the worst card we can have here? Probably the Harbinger. Right, Harbinger is very nice, but it's stopping our own counter spells, so that's why we're cutting it. And then we're cutting 3 of those for 1 Swiloon, for 3 Swiloons, because it's a grindy matchup after all, even though the Ether Vial is something that can help us with... Oh wait, we're on the draw, never mind. So the Etherwell goes out and we're bringing in 2 consigns for Scepter. Don't know what my brain was one more time completely cooked there, at least I noticed it. So what's the worst creature we got? I like all my creatures. Actually, I like them all. Damn. All of them are great. None of them are not great. Maybe I want to cut one of the lords, because it's actually... Nah, this cannot be correct. One type banner goes out. Type banner, my beloved. I'm sorry. Yeah, easiest keep. Got a 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. No interaction yet, but yeah. I'm sorry, I don't know what to say here. Should probably keep talking. Supreme Verdict into the graveyard. Interesting. His hand needs to be stacked with Wraths in that spot then, or he's looking for the land. I already found one of the lands. This might be a Scepter already. Yeah, rough to deal with. Force is a little bit too late for that, sadly. Alright. We're bringing in the Lord of Atlantis. I'm going to attack here. I wonder how he wants to proceed with the game next turn. Because I need a blue source to be able to do something here. He's going to fetch for white, for plains or something, to stop me from attacking, I believe. I don't want to use the stupor. Now it's going to be a little bit rough. I need a blue source, I guess. Or we are going to drop the stupor here to force the chant on his turn. But then the scepter is still there to be annoying. Are we going to think about it? In my upkeep, I guess. Alright. I sleep. Yeah, I can't do anything. Yeah, it's skipped. What now? Oh, this is something that can be done. Holy smoke! Am I just? What the hell? incredible luck I have this league, man, or this challenge, man. Like the perfect draw, right? Didn't hit something, so I can just type under that and then we could cheat. Alright, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Can't even counter that. I even cut you, man. I even cut you. Ha! Now I can attack. Do you want to play the Stupor here? We don't. Combat. Hiya! Going in for 4. So he needs to remove the Tidebinder. But if he's going to remove the Tidebinder, then he will not be able to scepter successfully, and I even can stop him from doing that. Depends a little bit on what he's drawing. 1. A red source. How much damage am I pushing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's quite a lot, it's not enough. And that's why I'm going to get all the Tide Shaper here. I mean, you can counter that with a Dispute. This is fine by me because now cannot scepter me and he's taking more damage. Another white. Oh wait, maybe he got a prismatic ending here, right? It's a little bit unfortunate. Anything I could have done there? Not really, right? Flare of Denial. Flare of Denial, my good sir. I want to push as much damage as possible here, which would be 6, 7, and then I can flare the chant if he's not hitting. Alright, we're going to do that. Because it didn't find a land yet. And now we can flare the chant in my upkeep. Or we could have just sacrificed a lord for that. Maybe. Or the Swiloon for that. But if he's not going to kick it now, then I will just win. Alright, he didn't find a land, which means I can just hardcast the flare here. Nope. Get flared. Hey, 2-0. GG. Alright, we are back. We're playing with Porks. And we are here with another keep. So he's playing Eldrazi Tron, I believe. I will just keep Tide Shaper Double Lord. Opponent is mulliganing again. Credible. Like, am I dreaming? What are those? What are those mulligans by my opponents? Mine into map. That's fine. I believe he's pretty good, huh? I wonder if I want to play the Tide Shaper here, or just run out the Lord. I think I'm playing a Lord here, just to see what his next land is going to be. Normally I would play the Tide Shaper, but since he played like mine into map, yeah, see now if he makes 2 mana with that, then I can Tide Shaper that one. Hexcatcher is incredible, actually incredible draw. So I believe that he has Kozilek's Command in hand. Alright. And Hexcatcher can help with that. I don't know if I even want to play the Tide Shaper here. Probably. Alright. Island use important. Because we can top deck another. Yeah, you got it, King. Because we can top deck another. Island, and then we can double Lord. But we can also just double Lord with the Ether Veil. Alright, I would love to go to Instep here. Do you want to use your mana? Oh, he wants to use his mana for the expedition map. It's quite nice. Wizard's Power Plant. Enter the revealed card zone. You have to be a little bit careful about command here. I believe if he had it, he would have just played it, right? It's also possible that he will just Tron me next turn. But we want to dish out as much damage as possible. And this is certainly helping with that. Alright, so this is staying on 2 because we can play both creatures here. Now we can even play more creatures here. Mass of the Peltron goes out, we're just dumping our hand. How much damage are we pushing? This is 9, 13, 16. So we're going to keep the Hexcatcher in as a back. Maybe this was a bait, right? That was a pretty smart bait by him. But Warping Rail, main board. It's just creating a creature. Is there any cast trigger that can get me here? Like Emrakul, 7. Okay, let's think about the Emrakul, because we don't have to accept that. So he's dropping mine, then he's 7, then he has 8 mana, 9 mana, and in his graveyard there are 1 artifact and 1 warping well, so it's 11 mana, so I don't have a response to that, I believe. Interestingly, he didn't use the Warping Veil. Oh no, wait, I thought it's mana value 1 or less, but it's power 1 or less. I didn't draw anything, so this needs to be a Khan. Kozilek's command for 2. Alright, let's just get this in. Sacrifice literally anything. Alright. We got him. Alright, so versus Eldrazi Tron, what I like to do is to play this number and consign. Alright, because of... wait, I have to check his list actually, it's a little bit cheat, but... yeah, he's playing cards. 1 Warping Veil is nice, it's new, huh? No, it's not new, it's a one-off. All-Star Dust, Armor Quill. Not too many. So Flare I don't like, because they have so much removal. Alright. 3, 7, 9. 9 is actually fine. No, the Eye of Ugin is also another. So it's like 13 removal spells main deck. So the Flare is kind of bad here. So I guess we're going to bring out the Flare, get in the force. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Playing 1 more Flare is fine actually, I guess. So I like all my cards once more. If the Mind Spring can go. I mean, it's early pressure, which is always nice. But the Hex Catcher is very fine. The Mentor's pressure, which we need. Harbinger and Tidebinder are also shining. I guess 2 Mentor have to go then. Alright. Yeah, like that. Should be good, right? Submit this, 26 creatures. Yeah. Opponent chooses to play first. He's mulliganing. So now this is the first hand I don't like. Right? Because we actually only have one thing to do, which is to play the Hex Catcher. We had a good streak, but I think we have to mulligan that one. But then again, wait, versus Eldrazi Tron, let's take like a minute here to think about that. Versus Eldrazi Tron, there are a lot of cards in my deck. Like we have 10 cards we want to see here. Alright? Because we boarded them in. And we have 50 cards left in the deck. So 10 cards are already sideboard choices. Then we have 8 creatures. Which we really want to see. Like, this is already 20 cards. Almost 20 cards. Then the Vials, so let's say with the Vials it's 20. Then the Tidebinder is also very nice. I wouldn't toss the hand, for example, if it contained the Tidebinder. So this is something else to consider. So we're 24 cards we want to see here. Either, yeah, 24 cards. So half my deck is a good draw. Right. It's just a little bit too little pressure here. Let's keep it though. If I draw like 3 cards, I will draw 2 cards I want to see. Keep that, I guess. It's a rough decision, I'm not sure. Normally I wouldn't keep that, but versus Tron especially, there's a lot of stuff that's hitting. Opponent is having his Devourer. Expedition mode on tower. Pretty strong. Let's see what he got. Cozy Leg, Karn, Trinisphere. Oi oi oi. Harbinger. Harbinger might be too slow, but maybe I can get in the Hex Catcher end of turn to counter his Ugin. Alright, he's already prepped. He's already prepped to blow me out of the water here. Can't counter that. So there was nothing could have drawn to stop that. Power plant entered the chat. Yes, mulliganing very aggressively, it's very nice. Don't know what to do here. I mean, if I got a force in hand, don't know what he's thinking. Let's think about that a little bit. I hope it's not too mental draining for me. I might have 15 minutes again. Have to play faster. I hope my internet is not going out. It's not. I'm getting a little bit paranoid over here. So why is he thinking then? So maybe he wants to play around the Hex Catcher, but he can't play around the Hex Catcher because if I slam dunk him with a Harbinger, that would be very bad for him. So maybe he's thinking, alright, so now I can slam dunk it. He made his decision. I'd love to sacrifice the Hex Catcher to its own ability here. And now if he doesn't have a Dismember right away, I'm back into the game. If he passed quicker here, Consign is very nice. Maybe I want to... No, I don't want to... Do I want to keep up the Consign here? In case he's drawing Karn. I don't. The way he thought for so long about it. I just want to slam dunk the Harbinger without any protection. Raised is nice. Winston I don't really care about. Vexing Bauble I don't really care about in this hand, with this hand. Alright. Alright, a lot of Atlantis goes. And then we're going to combat here. Attack with all creatures. For 3. Could have played the Master of the Peltrant here, but don't want to run into anything like a Karn. top deck Khan or Crucilex Command, both of which would be very bad. And the way this is going, I'm pretty safe from everything. Alright, another Stupor. Because we drew the Force, we can play the Stupor as hard cast here. Another Lord for more pressure. He needs to wonder why I'm playing the Stupors like that. Attack with everything. Alright, this is presenting lethal damage. So he probably wants to crack the Vexing Bauble and the Mind Stones to find something that's relevant here. Without a second map is nothing. 1, 2, crack map. I don't know why he wants to crack the map here. Who is this tower? 4 for Khan, the creator. Just casting the consign here. Then I have 10 on play, plus force backup. GG. Alright, very nice, very nice. Alrighty. We are back. Versus Merfolk. With Merfolk. And we gotta keep. So Merfolk is mulliganing. And Merfolk doesn't have a single tournament result or a single league result. So I am completely lost on what he is playing today. Alright. Playing the island here instead of the Cavern of Souls, because even though his name suggests that he's playing Merfolk, I don't think that's very likely. He's just playing Dragon Rage Channeler. Turn 1. So we're faced with a decision here. But no matter the decision, we can just go attack with the Mindspring Merfolk here. Not thinking about anything else for the moment. And then we have two possibilities. We can either play the Silvergill Mentor, which is by far the fastest way to progress on the board, or we can play the Tide Shaper and have some sort of Island Walk enabling here. We can stop any upkeep triggers for the Surveil. We can disrupt his mana a little bit for like Channeler into Channeler. And we can play the Silvergill Mentor after that. Alright. And I wonder what's best. Putting down a lot of pressure is always very nice, but I believe trying to go for a little bit of disruption here might be alright. Since he didn't play fetch land here, which I think would be the best choice. Anti-mulligan to 6, and I already saw a lot of people not hitting their lands this league. Alright, I helped him to cast a Preordain, which is kinda nice, I guess. Bauble into the graveyard, because that's not what he needs. So he might hit a Bolt here, like a fetch land into a Bolt, and then he has enough in his grave to get the Channeler online. 1 top, 1 bottom means there's the fetch land. Alright. And then he might bolt my Tide Shaper here and has a 3/3 flyer, turn 1. Academic Dispute, a card I don't know, and I will read it after he surveils. It's learning. What is this? Target creature blocks this turn of Able. You may have gained reach until end of turn, and it's an instant. Hey, bro! No! It has reach, so it's going to die. It's fine though, right? I mean, pushing 3 here is strong. I don't want to. Alright, I want to, I guess. Funny. But this is like a worse bolt. He learned. Put down an Arid Mesa. Interesting. What did he learn? Firebending Lesson. Deals 2 damage to target creature. If the spell is kicked, it deals... Alright. So this means I'm going to play the Silver Elementor here because it's the most resilient. And I don't know what I need from this position. Or in this position. Hexcatcher. Hexcatcher's nice. But first, we're going to attack. And then we're playing the Silver Elementor, which is on turn 3 not as potent as on turn 2, but it should be alright. So since he has a Preordain, I believe he's playing blue cards. Academic Dispute. I will show you original research you hack. There's an island. Alright. I wonder how our next turn is going to look. I hope we will just draw any land. Alright, this is pretty nice, and he's still got a bolt in hand, which we have to respect. Declare attackers, attacking me for 3 for the first time here. This can block quite well. Probably pushing 5 here. Another Channeler, alright, now it's getting dirty. Now I believe we need a land. Because we're dead in 2 turns. This ended fam. Can also play a lot of Atlantis to push damage here. Because it's quite a lot of damage coming through there. So how does the... Don't believe you're dead next turn, right? This is going to be rough because he can just control me in this spot. Right, so playing the Lord here can't go with any backlash, right? And then I'm pushing 7. He He's going to hit me next turn. What if we play the Silver Gill Mentor here? We will never push. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 17. We could play the Silver Gill Mentor and then into Lord, but I know that he got an interaction spell in hand. So maybe just do it like that. It's not the best idea here because he can just attack, use his cards in hand to control me, right, by killing my creatures, like here and here, and then I will never be able to get him. But I don't see any way how this is being resolved here in a positive manner for me. So Firebending lessened more first in his upkeep, so he will always draw something that's relevant. Very nicely played. What did he put? Graveyard, graveyard, graveyard. Steam Winds into the graveyard. Expressive Iteration into the graveyard. So he didn't find something that he wants, but I don't have anything in my deck that's going to help me here, but another land, of course, right? It's like the only thing that can have an impact. It needs to be a land, and he needs to have nothing. So first step is being done. Play this. So if we got, don't play anything, I mean he needs to have a bolt. Can also use the Mindspring Merfolk here, but yeah, what's the damage? I want to flash in the Hexcatcher at some point. Let's see, so first the Lord means, oh, we have, what do we have? We have 4 in play, plus 6 is exactly 10. But this just loses to like Lava Dart. Attacking with the Muta Vault is also possible. We have nothing here, right? Have to shoot our shot. Yeah. Nothing I could have done there. Sadly. Wait, there was something I could have done. I could have played the Mentor turn 1, turn 2 right, and then next turn I would have had more pressure. Maybe this would have been enough here. But like that, it's not enough. Alrighty, you got me. Alright, just some normal Prowess list, Steel Cutter. So we're going with the normal Prowess setup here. And I believe Next Affinity, this is the list we didn't play against. So we're going with Force instead of Flare, I believe. Do we though? Quite sure. No, the Force is fine. The Mindspring goes out because the Chalice will get him. And then 3 Harbingers have to go for the Sviluun. And I believe we're running it like that. Yeah, this looks like a basic setup to me. The Hex Catchers... Nah, this is fine. Alrighty. Love to go first here. We have everything we need but a second land. So we have to mulligan here. No wait, if I didn't play the Tide Shaper, he would have just double raged me. Right. 1 turn earlier. Still I could have attacked us. Alright, no, let's not think about this. Let's think about this hand. This hand is great if we top deck a land, and if we don't top deck a land, we are going to lose, so I'm going to mulligan that. Alright, we're going to keep this one. Not a great hand, but a playable one. So we got a Force here, but yeah, I like this, I believe. It's always possible to top deck a second land, and then we don't want to have another Ether Vial. And the Ether Vial will help us to hit our targets here, right? Opponent is on the mulligan as well. So, let's see. Opponent is drawing. Opponent is Swift Spear. No bobble. I wonder if we want to play the first Tide Shaper here if we don't hit a land. Alright, this makes it a little bit easier. Now I can just play the Vial. Another Swift Spear. Oh. Boomerang Lesson on this little fella. It's a highly tempo. It's a high tempo play, right? Don't believe we can force that. We're just going to put down one of the Tide Shapers here, and then we'll take that back. It's probably fine like that. Can't block, of course, because it's just going to die. Alright, so this goes up again, and then depending on what we're drawing, we're playing a second Ether Vial. Do we want to attack here? Let's go attack here. We're never going to double block into the Prowess shenanigans, because if he got a bolt, he will just get one of the targets, and then I'm never going to win this game. Expressive Iteration is digging quite deep here. No response to that. No response to that. I don't want him to find anything that's meaningful. Don't see me casting the Tidebinder soon. I don't want him to find a land here. Let's just force that. We got a little bit of pressure here with the Tide Shaper. We don't want the Swift Spear gets any bigger than it already is. We are down to 11. Alright. Bring in the second Tide Shaper. Now last thing we want to see here is a land, of course, because now it's the wrong moment for that, since we went quite all in here, and we effectively have 3 lands. This is actually the best draw. Let's play the Lord of Atlantis here and push 6. Alright, a lot of damage coming his way. A little bit scared because 3 cards in his hand are gas, right? It's just straight gas. Prowess. Target creature blocks this turn. If able, you may have gain reach. And then he's learning for a firebending lesson. Crazy that this is actually working. I don't want to block. What if I double block? This sounds terrible, right? So I play the Tide Shaper here. I double block. He kills my Lord. Or he's just shooting the 2 damage on one of my Tide Shapers, and then he's going to I mean, I can double block actually, right? He will trade 1 for 1. Let's do that, I guess. Trading 2 for 2, I mean. No matter where he's bolting, I would love to use the Etherwell's ability. I love to block one of the Swift Spears 2 times. Here and here. Alright, now he's killing the Lord. And then the Swift Spears. Oh, this is actually worse. It's actually kind of blowout here. Wait, no, it's not. Wait, what? Ah, because he's second. Oh, this is a blowout. Very strong blowout. Alright, we just lost that to 2-0 here. What now? Maybe Sviluun can save us. This is not saving us. But he doesn't know. right? It doesn't matter if he knows or not. I wish I had a 3-drop here. Ouchie. And I'm dead. Ouchie, dead. So close. So close to winning. But he found a nice line and I misplayed the first game maybe. Well, GG. Alright. We're back. I believe you can see that here. We are going second into the top 8. And this guy is playing Storm Vengeance or Brute Scale. Two of those matches are really hard. But we're going first, so this is something nice. This hand has a 1-drop, which is really nice, but it has nothing else. Because it's only 1 land, and now I have 2 lands, 0 lands. So this is sadly just down to 5. And there was no, how do you say? There was nothing I could have done about it. Alright, so we're putting down 2 cards here, and then we have to make a decision about which card we want to play. Oh, I could have actually put down the cavern here. I don't know if I want to play the Tide Shaper. I just want to run it out here, right? It's possible that the Tide Shaper can do some work here, but I believe since we're so low on cards, the only thing that's getting us out of here, this is Storm. No, it's Esper. Goryo's Vengeance, right? That or Storm. So Leo. No, wait, it's just energy. Lol. Alright. Well, I got baited by... I wish this would have been an island. I was a little bit too quick by me. So 5 versus 6 is probably winnable on card advantage terms, right? It's not too bad. It's quite bad, but not too bad. Alright, he didn't went all in on the Ragavan. The bombardment is a rough one. I am not going to lie. Hexcatcher. 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 What is your secret? Probably just dropping the Lord here. And pushing a few points of damage. No reason for him to sacrifice the right. He could have just blocked there, right? So if he got a Ajani, I'm cooked. But this is what it is, right? Yeah, good hand. I have to be quite lucky to beat that. So we can sacrifice the Goryo token, ping 1 damage on the Tide Shaper here. What? I mean, sure. He could have, for reference, he could have pinged the Tide Shaper and then... Oh no, wait, he can't because this is only 1 damage, never mind. Alright, he knows his deck better than I do. I want to attack the Ajani. Probably just got another one. No matter what I do, you can just sacrifice the Cat Warrior here, right? Bouncing the bombardment doesn't do anything. You can just play it again. So I believe what we're going to do is to go to combat here, attack the Ajani. Block sack is probably the play here. But then I can save my Merfolks. Yeah, okay. Let's capture that. Then I'm probably playing the Stupor here untapped. Tapped, sorry. Why did I do that? Could have just waited for the next draw. There's nothing I can... This is dealing 1 damage to the Hexcatcher. I don't see me winning this anyway, anytime. I was probably getting Ranger Captain here, since he didn't play anything last turn. Oh, the Pyromancer's even worse. Yikes. Blood Moon. Ah, well, this is not a useful card here, right? Yeah, let's just FF that. Can't win. There's nothing in my deck that gets me out of this lock. Alright, so... the usual. Taking out the Mindstreamer for bringing in Chalice and December. Keeping 2 flares. And then we're bringing in... the Saloons. Wait, are we out 28 here, right? 1, 2, 3... we want to have Vial. Wait, I believe I bought it differently now. I completely forgot. Can keep 1 Vial, I guess. Alright, submit this. I believe I bought it differently last time I played this. Maybe without Hexcatcher. Because Hexcatcher doesn't hit anything. Was it like that? Or did I take out Hexcatcher on the draw? What did I do differently? I don't know. Damn, I wish I knew, man. I wish I knew, but I don't. Whoops. Alright, we are going first again. I believe. Keep us keep. Alright. No flare. I hope we don't get punched 2-0 2 times in a row. Opponent is mulliganing, so I'm a little bit scared that he's mulliganing that. He's mulliganing so aggressively. Probably knows what he's doing then, huh? Alright, Weil is going in here. I have only one Weil, right? And I draw it. Turn 1. I believe I kept the Weil in last time and put down the Hexcatcher. I don't know, man. As long as I'm not running Weil on the draw, it's probably doesn't really matter. Opponent hitting me with the Guide of Souls. Well. Okay, and this time I will not. Ugh. I want to play the Tide Shaper so bad. Let's just play the Tide Shaper. I want to do it so bad. It's probably just bad, right? Could have played the Tide Shaper here and the Silver Mentor at the same time. And then Swiloon next turn is a super safe thing to do. But Weiling in the Silver Mentor with Swiloon as a front runner is also very strong. And this at least stops Guide of Souls into Pride or some horrible thing. Just Voice of Victories literally doesn't matter too much right now. Alright. Alright, we're going to attack here. Flare is excellent. Just drawing the cards, I bought it out and I'm super happy to see them. What is this telling me? Alright. Combat. No wait, Flare is not excellent because of the voice. Ah no, Flare is horrible. Alright, I'm getting tired again, I guess. It's like Teferi. Alright, hit him for 2 here. Alright. Maybe I can flare in my own step. Tech step here. In my own turn here. Just going to declare attack here. Makes a lot of sense. Oh, Thraben's Charm is now hitting the Swiloon. Because I cannot put down the Mentor here, should have done it before. Didn't play around that. a little bit annoying. But then again, I don't have to play the Mentor on that spot for the same reason I didn't block, because if he got a discharge here, it's also quite annoying. 3 mana Pyromancer. It's quite strong as well. I'm getting just beaten up here. Need to have a Lord. No wait, I'm not getting beaten up. One step. So this stays on 2. Harbinger's... I wanted to say Harbinger's great, but Harbinger's just alright. Want to attack with everything here. Let's see what we draw first with the Sith. Take all. Just have to be a little bit careful about the next swing in the air. No response. Didn't I go first with Vile? Bro, why is this so annoying? Alright, we can get him with the Stupor here maybe. Declare blockers. Combat damage. What do we want to do in this spot? Bounce the Guide of Souls? Or deploy the Harbinger? Or bounce the Voice of Victory? All of those are valid things to do. Deploying the Harbinger sounds worst. Bouncing the Guide of Souls, can just replay it. Are we going to bounce the Voice of Victory here? Get back into his hand. Now we can even flare it if he's playing it again. Alright. So not all hope is lost, even though it's quite rough. Sif on the Sif on the play on turn 3 is just such a menace, man, versus mid-range / aggro. Opponent is just discharging on the Tide Shaper. Why does he need double blue? Don't get it. No response to that. Maybe now. Maybe a response to that now. Maybe wants to attack. No response. Am I walking into a trap? Probably not. The trap is that the Guide of Souls has 3 energy counters now, can attack again. Well, we can't let that happen. So we're going to hit the Pride here with the Flare of Denial by sacrificing the Silver Gill Mentor. Don't want him to have more blockers. Don't believe he can afford to attack here. though he might use or try that. Because he can't block as well, or he doesn't have great blocks as well. Alrighty, let's see what my man is up to. Alright, end step. Yeah, he's playing quite well now. Alright, still staying on 2, so we can cast both things, I believe. Never mind. Combat with everything. Once more, I am not so sure about it. This should be enough, right? Can just double block otherwise. It's clear that I don't have no 2-drop here. Just block that is fine. I'm a little bit scared of a voice here for obvious reasons. So just Harbinger should be sufficient. Like it's something to play in this spot. Sorting on quite well. And another island. Can't cast Ranger Captain here. This might be the voice. Yup. No response to that. Gets a trigger here. Gets the life gain there. This needs to go to 3 now. But then it's very nice. Can attack for 3 here in the air. Then I'm dead in 4 turns. Raga 1 with dash cannot be countered, not be blocked, because you can just give it haste. Hope he's not finding Dismember here. No wait, Dismember doesn't work. Dismember works. Please don't do that to me, my good sir. Ouchie. But I cannot be cursed. Dash goes back into hand. Alright, I don't have to fear anything in this position, I believe. Oh, another Swiloon, very nice. Combat. Attack with the Harbinger here. I don't know. I don't push too much damage. That's a little bit annoying. But yeah, nothing to do. Nothing. No good draw. I 1 second have to check something else. I can't believe it. Once more my internet crashed. Whoops. What? And I have like 7 minutes on the clock for the last game. Ugh, this is so annoying. We're back. If I may. What do we want to do here? Alright. Apparently I passed the turn. I have no idea, man, what happened. I wanted to play a land probably. Ay. What to do? I don't know why it went into my end step, but I know that I only have 7 minutes left for the last game here, so this is going to be a dash dragon. It's just going to be a goblin bombardment, which is actually fine because you cannot kill anything too relevant with it, but the cast with dash gets 1 life. Declare attacks. I will stifle the Voice of Victory here. I was just going in with everything. Mobilize 2. Alright, this is enough reason for me to get in the Tidebinder. Stifle that. And then we're going to block no response. Can kill exactly 1 thing here. Block. Or I have to play a little bit faster, you know. Response to that. Block, please. Declare block here. Declare block here. Declare block here. Wait, this is a little bit annoying because you can get back those, but it's fine. Oh, he has to sacrifice something for that. Probably the voice, because it's get killed either way. But then the God of Souls is dead, at least. Does he have anything for 1 white mana? I don't think so. Doesn't really matter, right? So he's going to get the Harbinger here. But the Harbinger is not that important, because he has 2 basics anyway. Oh wait, what? This is not really important, right? Maybe he's dead if he's not doing that. Maybe that's the reason. Didn't count. Alrighty. So this stays on 2. God, I have to be quick now. And I'm not quick. I'm a very slow player. Alright, we're drawing a card. Didn't hit anything. I'm gonna play the Muta Vault. Can bounce something with the Otter Vara here. With free desire, can even bring in these balloons so the game is cooked for him. He can just waste another minute here trying to flag me. Nope, he's not. Alright, very kind of him. Alrighty, so how do we proceed here? I know what happened, because we didn't play versus energy on the play afterward. That's why I didn't know what to do. Alright, so I want to keep it like that. Oh wait, I want to take stuff out again just to know what I'm actually looking at. Where are the flares? 2 flares here. Alright, so like this is the main board with the Mind Spring. Alright, what we want are these cards, and then we want the flares, I guess. Alright, because this is not hitting anything but the Goblin Bombardment, while it is a great card, it's still bad. So probably want to have the flare. I believe the Hex Catcher's not doing enough. Right, this was my line of thinking. Then the Vial goes out, the Mind Spring stays in, the Swiloon gets in, and the Harbinger goes out. I think I board it like that, and then I just hope that I don't draw the Mind Spring Merfolk, or just draw a Cavern of Souls here. Alright, submit it like it is. Chalice. Yeah. This is keep, I guess. This is a keep, I guess, but I have 3 of my 8 1-drops in hand. Opponent just keeping 7 as well. Nope. Doesn't matter too much here in this spot. So probably... No way, bro. No way. What a top deck rip. Great stuff for great people. What first? Mindspring Merfolk first. Alright. Alright, you have to play faster. I forgot. I'm already... Oh, he's discharging that. Like, it's a dangerous card. Next one is Chalice, 3rd turn is Harbinger. Oh, no basic. Ajani. Dangerous. Alright, Otawara not being played here is probably fine. Have to be a little bit careful because I cannot play the Tide Shaper after I played the Harbinger, because the Harbinger is cutting off the Chalice. Alright, just drop this now. But since it didn't... Basic planes is rough for great people like me. Alright. 3. Does he have any way to... Does he have any way to... Oh, this is... Ay. Do we want to play the Harbinger in this spot? It cuts him off a great amount of... But I don't have the pressure otherwise, right? That's a little bit annoying. I think I have to play the Tide Shaper here. Maybe like this we can get him to punt or something. So we can block the voice once. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 damage here down to 13. Quite a lot if you ask me. Maybe no land, maybe no drop, maybe a lot of discharges or something. No response. Would love to declare blocks. Would love to block here. Just pass. Thraben Charm the as strong AF. Sadly, it's not beatable. Yep. Yeah, that was enough. Or is enough, right? There's no way I'm coming back from that. Maybe if I can hit a land here. What is here? What is there to do? So the land is helping a little bit because it can get the voice out of the game for 1 turn. Can just play the Ajani again. That the tokens of the Voice of Victory are red is such a strong thing. I don't know what to do. He will just make infinite tokens and kill everything I play. If I hit a land next turn, I can get him off everything. But what if I bounce the voice here? Could bounce the voice in his end step. Then I will have taken 1, 2. No, I will just be dead, right? Alright. Alright, Ajani, you go back to the owner's hand. And I'm not developing anything. But if he doesn't draw land, I will get hit for 5, going down to 8. I can block, and then I'm dead, right? Nah, this is not something you can do. Or there's nothing I can do about it. My brother, stop it. Yeah, this is it. That was too fast. Sack. And next turn I'm dead. Maybe I can draw a land. Alright, look at this. Actually genius behavior. Developing the Harbinger and tapping the Cavern of Souls mana before. So this enters as a 2/2 to hit the White Sorcerer. I'm still dead. But it was a nice play, right? It was a nice play. You can just kill the Tide Shipper here, right? With the attack trigger and then get the Ajani rolling. I wish I could think about this a little bit longer. One, two, three. I'm just dead here. Block here. Block here. Ach, it is a little bit unlucky, no. Well, I had fun. So I guess. Yeah, alright. Shame on me. Shame on me. Well, GG wasn't right. It was a nice league. I'm finishing 6th, I think. Yeah, this is this is very nice. Who is out? Cipher, Midas, me, the Prowess player, Energies in, Showtime Rouse if I didn't see. Well, GG.